Okay. I love anime just as much as the next guy. It makes us laugh, it makes us pretend we didn't cry. There's plenty of amazing and beautiful stories being told all the time. And we watch them wherever, whenever, because that's how watching things works. But sometimes those amazing stories get a little, anime, which is usually fine. We've all agreed upon an unspoken contract to play a Russian roulette of cleavage shots instead of death whenever we watch anime in public. And if I had to choose between the boobs roulette and the death one, I'd choose boobs. 9 times out of 10. But there are some outliers, you know, anime that you have to watch in private, else you'll at best gross out your roommates and at worst go to jail. But you know me, I'm all about questionable moral judgment, especially if there's a good story involved. So before we get into this, lock yourself in your room and let's hope my parents didn't check my Netflix history. Let's talk about anime you can't watch in public. And this is only gonna cover the last 10 years or so because anime fans can't seem to remember anything past that. So speaking of questionable Netflix history, Devilman Crybaby. God, where do I start? Devilman Crybaby is about Akira, a typical high school kid who, after his childhood friend comes to town, gets into, you know, the usual 16-year-old antics, hanging out with friends, riding around the city, hitting up some parties, resurrecting and becoming host of the strongest demon on the planet, and brutally murdering everyone at said party. High school was wild. Now don't get me wrong, Devilman Crybaby is a borderline masterpiece. The animation, the vibe, the score, that's how it went. It all gives you a vivid picture of the hidden grime in the world. Not to mention, the story has a lot of nuance and subtle messages about mob culture, government, religion, tolerance. Plus, it has an ending that erases all happiness from your heart, which is my preferred way of dealing with happiness.
I think I forgot to turn on the lights.
Doesn't matter. But to get to all these beautifully accented moments, we have to go through a lot of corpses. Like a lot of corpses. LSD, motorboating, nudity, Japanese EDC. I don't know why that's on the list. I guess it's bad now. High people, vagina demons, vagina and breast demons, eating said high people. And I've got 3 pages left, and that was episode 1. So, now don't get me wrong, the debauchery in Devilman Crybaby just accents the show's premise that the human world is just as dirty as the demon one. But there's maybe just 1 or 2 many vagina demons for it not to be on this list, I'm just saying. Don't watch in public, at all. Also, don't do drugs, or summon demons. Preferably both, especially at the same time. Okay, the year is 2010 and people have finally realized that they like dead bodies, but only on the basis that they're moving and trying to eat meat. So naturally, this new zombie trend is crossing all kinds of mediums, and of course, Japan had to come through and throw their hat in the ring. Granted, said hat is just a giant pair of boobs in peril for 22 minutes, but it's our giant pair of boobs in peril for 22 minutes. Hat. And it's called High School of the Dead. Okay, visual storytelling 101 here. Camera angles and subject choice are important when shooting something because they signify a purpose with the storytelling. If the shot is a close-up on a troubled character, we want to focus on them and their expressions. If the shot is from the top of a weak character, the subject is supposed to feel lesser and subordinate. If we're angled really far away from our protag, the subject is supposed to look small and insignificant compared to what's around him. So tell me, what did this shot of Takagi's breasticles tell me about this scene? And that's pretty much the whole show. Upskirt, boob shot, upskirt. God, I feel like a peeping Tom every time I watch it. Now don't get me wrong, anime does this kind of thing all the time. It's nothing new, but I don't know, High School of the Dead just finds a way to ruin the mood with an ill-timed cleavage shot. It all happens during the absolute most random times. We could be talking about orange juice and the camera would pan over to Psycho's for 10 seconds. Why is 30% of this show different angles of boobs? And what's wild about High School of the Dead is that the show doesn't have a plot that's actually fueled by sex drive. The characters grow and change, and they traverse a really interesting world ravaged by the zombie apocalypse, meaning fan service isn't part of the main plot or motivations. I am looking at you, High School DxD. Dear God, if I gotta see another boob multiplier, I'm going to die. You can tell the characters are concerned and fearing for their lives, which makes it a solid show, except at one part. So there's one scene where the characters are in a pickle, surrounded by zombies left and right, and the protagonist has to land a certain shot to help save everyone. Sounds fairly innocent. Well, can we roll the clip, please? Okay, I'm a guy who doesn't usually engage with the opposite sex a lot, so maybe I wouldn't know, but I don't think that's how boobs work. There's so many things wrong with this, both in morality and physics. Looking at that scene in particular made me feel low-key disgusting, and really the rest of the series gave me the same vibes. It's just kind of trashy, and it's basically hentai at times. Anyways, I watched the whole series. Pretty solid, would recommend, don't watch in public. Domestic girlfriend. Can we just play the clip, please?
一度体の関係持ってしまったけど兄弟になってしまったこと
I don't really need to explain this one. I think Giguk said it best. It's accidental incest. Next up is the intentional one. Eromanga Sensei. Okay, first off, I know at the beginning of this video I said I was going to talk about anime with amazing and beautiful stories being told. And I am. Look, I know a show called Eromanga Sensei probably isn't hitting the most philosophical themes here, unless you think I Want to My Sister is a philosophical theme. Ero is short for erotic, manga means manga, and sensei means teacher. Erotic manga teacher. It seems like we're scraping the bottom of the barrel here, I get it. But the show is more so awful, it's good? It's like watching two people fight. This probably shouldn't be happening. I probably shouldn't be watching this. In fact, I probably should call the police, but I can't stop. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Eromanga Sensei, one of my worst accomplishments in life is going to be explaining it to you right now. Basically, our protagonist, Masamune, is a light novel author. He's getting his illustrations done by the ever subtly titled Eromanga Sensei. Hey, that's the name of the show! And he finds out the illustrator for this book is actually his 12-year-old sister. God, I love it because the first line describing her says not related by blood. I feel like the author really wanted to convey that around this time. And basically, in a nutshell, he tries to get with his sister for like 12 episodes, which kind of already makes it not okay to watch in public, but I've already got 8 more reasons here, so, and bear with me here. At one point, I used the term 12-year-old and in the same sentence. Anyways, 12-year, 15, 14-year-old, 12-year. Don't watch in public. Do I really gotta do this one? Can we start properly clothing Japanese high school students? I just want to see some cool fights and not get put on a registry.
Hey, excuse me. Sir, stop.
Kill la Kill is about Ryuko Matoi in her time at the militaristic high school Honnoji Academy, trying to investigate the disappearance of her dad. Her digging leads to her getting into battles with the hierarchy at Honnoji. And those battles typically involve her, an enemy, a pair of scissors, and naturally, what any of us would need before getting into a fight, less clothes, which granted would probably be pretty effective in a fight. See, the special Goku uniforms at Honnoji grants their wearers abilities far greater than they could ever have before. You know, powers like strength and public nudity. Now, seriously, this show actually has some fantastic plot, world building, and character development. It seems Kill la Kill hits a lot of notes that make an awesome anime that gets you attached to all the characters. Plus, the animation is mwah. Trigger sure knows how to animate half-naked people. But you have to trade all that fantastic plot, world building, and character development for, you know, their f***ing clothes. Only in Japan, man. And really, that's my only issue with the show, albeit a big, naked, glaring one. Yo, Trigger, you didn't have to make them naked to do this. You didn't have to. It feels like the author, Kazuki Nakashima, is just trying to go for less clothes with every work he does. Like we did mech suits with Gurren Lagann, and then we did school suits with Kill la Kill. I feel like the next logical step is suits of the birthday variety, and considering the age of his protagonist, I don't know if I can legally be on board with that. that. Now, I may not be able to protect your dignity when watching an anime in public, but a good VPN can keep you protected online. Without one, hackers and other online creeps can access your information. ExpressVPN has the fastest speeds out there, and most importantly, it has server locations in 94 countries, including Japan. Now, I'm not telling you to use ExpressVPN to watch Japanese Netflix, but I'm also not telling you not to do that. I use ExpressVPN to watch Carol and Tuesday because Carol and Tuesday, for some reason, isn't available on Netflix here, even though they aired weekly over there. They did that with Violet Evergarden, and they did it with this one too. But my feelings aside, unlock a safer internet for less than $7 a month. And there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. You can get 3 months free, that's long enough to binge Carol and Tuesday, by clicking the link in the description. That's expressvpn.com/GetintheRobot. Now, I'm out of time, and I'm not even halfway through my list. I mean, are you surprised? There's so many anime in this category. So if you want to see a part 2 of this video, subscribe and let us know in the comments, because we won't judge you for this. Anyways, I'm Kurt. This is Getting the Robot, made in NYC because we can't move to Japan.